Every time a war breaks out, the United Nations has been unable to stop it. Is it really the United Nations of the United States? After World War II, nearly 300 wars have occurred around the world. Most of them went through the United Nations process before the outbreak. Because the United Nations shoulders an important role, which is to maintain world peace and stability. However, every time the United Nations fails to prevent the occurrence of war, which is contrary to the original intention of the establishment of the United Nations. The fundamental reason is that the United Nations has become the United Nations of the United States. Although the United States is a deadbeat that owes more than $1 billion and has not paid its membership fees for more than 30 years, due to the collapse of the Soviet Union, the world has entered an era of unilateral hegemony. In the past, when the United States wanted to attack someone, it would do so if the United Nations agreed, and it would still do so if the United Nations disagreed. The United Nations is just a tool used to occupy the commanding heights of public opinion. With the gradual rise of China and Russia in recent years and the enhancement of their international influence, the world has entered a multipolar era. However, the United Nations still cannot prevent wars. The contradictions among the 5 permanent members have a long history. Only when there is a genius like Gaddafi do the 5 permanent members briefly reach a consensus. Moreover, the United Nations only has the right to mediate conflicts, has no right to directly interfere in a country's sovereignty, and has no strength to directly send troops. Although the world's 5 most powerful countries are present, they all base their decisions on maximizing their own interests. In the end, the current world still follows the law of the jungle. Only when the era of global unity arrives, without boundaries between countries and between people, can the United Nations play a better role.